Well, good morning. Today is Thursday, October 19th. It's 53 degrees. It's a little bit warmer than it was yesterday, so I'm not going to wear a jacket. Jim took today off, and so he's going to take me out to dinner, so I have to choose wisely because we're not doing family dinner tonight. We went out last week for his birthday, and I chose wisely, so I intend to do that again. I'm going to stay on track for the breakfast and lunch, though. And it's a little windy. I might need a jacket. There's a little bit of a breeze kicked up there. I really don't have any other plans for the day. I'm going to empty my pots and put them away, and that's about it. Put some more bird food in the bird feeder because they kind of go crazy. I think they eat more now than they did. I think they got to bulk up for their big trip down south, and really don't have much. Well, I was gonna tell you something, but I can't remember what it was. I was gonna tell you a story today. I thought it would have been a cute story, but can't remember what it was. Had something to do with one of my comments, I thought, or that I got from somebody yesterday, but I can't think of what it was. Well, I will tell you a story about Jimmy. I did think of that. We were up north, and I think I've told this one before, but we were up north in, that's why I was going to tell you the story about Danny, but Jimmy popped into my head. Well, okay, Jimmy, we were way up north, and he was like horsing around. He was probably about 7 or 8, and he was running around in a store. And I kept telling him, quit running, and I ran. He was running, and when he was running by me like a typical mother, I grabbed the hood of his jacket to pull him back. Not a really good mother, but to pull him back because I couldn't grab a hold of him. And he put his arms back like that and slipped out of the jacket. And then he went flying, and he went into a sock rack. And I don't know if you noticed, like the socks have those hooks. Well, the hook hit him and went up his head, went right up his head. And he grabbed hold of his head right away as he's laying on the floor, and he was crying. And I said, just get up. You're fine. You're making a scene. Stop it. So he says, well, my head hurts. And I said, you're fine. Get up. And so when he got up to put his hands down, he let go of his head, and the blood just gushed out. And then everybody looks at me like, oh, my God, look at that mother. Her son's bleeding to death, and she's telling him he's okay. So real quick, I grabbed it. Something all cloth, some kind of clothing off the thing, and pressed it on, was using pressure. And so the store manager said, well, there's a doctor right next door, because it was a small town. So we went next door to the doctor's office, and the doctor wasn't in. It was lunchtime. So they said, well, maybe the vet across the street. I thought, you know what, I don't care. So we went across the street to the vet. And when we got into the vet's office, he was at lunch with the doctor. So he wasn't home either. So we carried him down to the fire department, which was a volunteer fire department. So we had to ring the bell or whatever, or the siren. And then somebody came with an ambulance, and they drove him in the ambulance to Port Huron, which was probably about 25, 30 miles away. And my mother was following behind the ambulance. And so Denise was sitting in the front seat with the people in the ambulance, and I was in the back with Jimmy. And the ambulance driver said to Denise, my gosh, that person behind me is like a nut. She looked in the mirror and she says, that's my mom. Well, that was that was Jimmy's story. And Danny's story was he always liked to watch me when I got ready to, I used to like curl my hair with a curling iron, wear makeup and the whole bit when I was younger. And I was ready to I worked at the church bingo. So I was going to curl my hair, and he wanted to help. And so he grabbed the end of the hot part of the curling iron, and it took like a second. It was like that minute, like, ooh, and then he had burnt his hand so badly. So we brought him to the hospital, and his favorite little stuffed animal was Bert, of Bert and Ernie. And so we went and they took care of him and everything. And while he was sitting there, he kept saying, I want a Band-Aid on Bert's hand too. I want a Band-Aid on Bert's hand too. And I want the peanut butter on his hand too, because the stuff that they put on his hand was kind of brownish looking. We told him that it was peanut butter, but he couldn't eat it. I know, but for them to put it on. So they put the peanut butter on the hand. So when the orderly or the nurse came in to apply the bandages and that, and it was a male nurse, and I said to him, Bert needs a Band-Aid on his hand too because he burnt his hand too. And Danny was sitting on Jim's lap, but he didn't know which one was, So he says, well, which one's Bert? The doll. And he says, oh, okay. But back to Jimmy's story, real quick. When we got to the hospital and the nurse asked him, how he hurt his head, he said, my mom pushed me into a rack. So they said, your mom pushed you into a rack? He said, yes, she pushed me into a rack. So they took me out of the room and I had to be interviewed by the police and social services. And it was because somebody in the store manager or somebody had called and said, had told him what happened. But to this day, Jimmy tells everybody I pushed him into a rack. He ended up with like 15 stitches. Oh well. Christy never gave me any big issues. She was the perfect child. At least she'll tell you that. I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Okay, I'm back. It was a beautiful walk. Did talk with Denise. Texted back and forth with Mary. And just enjoyed my day. It's really nice. Now I have to do the outside work. I have to get rid of my dirt in my planters and store that stuff. And then I'll be all done. I'll be all set. Just waiting for the snow to come. No, not really. Okay, it's time for breakfast. I can see that I probably could have used a little less butter. I shouldn't have bought the cinnamon toast. I knew it when I bought it. It's a temptation for me, and it's not a good temptation. So I started my day with a prayer. I've drank 42 ounces of water so far. I've walked 7,141 steps. My quote is, never stop trying, never stop believing, never give up. Your day will come. I have 12 smart points, 35 points altogether for the day, 0 for my berries, tea, and water, 5 for my 1 tablespoon of butter, 5 for my 2 pieces of cinnamon toast, and 2 for my hard-boiled egg. That's 12 points. I have 23 points left for the day. There's my breakfast. Well, I actually waited 2 hours today before I went into my banana and grapefruit and my glass of water. So 0 points, so I still have 23 points left. All right, well, Jim taking me out for dinner. We're on our video. So I ordered iced tea, no pop, and a grilled chicken, and some mashed potatoes and a side salad with the dressing on the side. I'm very happy that I chose wisely. Well, look who's here. Or should I say, look where I'm at. Whose house am I at?
My house.
I'm at Sophia's house.
Nope. Where did my lotto tickets go?
Oh, she's so worried about her lotto tickets. That's all she's worried about.
No, you can't steal them. It's for helping my dad wash my car.
But what if they're losers? Then you wash the car for free.
No, I don't care.
You should have took the money. Money in your hand is better than a guessing money. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, we're back, and I think I chose pretty good. I had iced tea, unsweetened, and I had a glass of water, and I had the chicken breast, which was grilled, and it had a salsa, a pinko salsa, pinko con, whatever you call it. Like the little diced tomatoes and peppers on top of it, with a piece of guacamole, a slice of guacamole, and then it had a slice of provolone cheese melted on top. And then it was probably, I would say, a cup of garlic mashed potatoes, and I had a salad with honey mustard dressing on the side. So I think I did choose pretty well for me eating out, because we know I usually don't choose very well. It was a surprise. I was just going to have a hodgepodge dinner, and then Jim suggested that we go out to dinner. And you know me, I love to eat out. So we went out to eat, and it was nice. It was a new place that we went to. It's called Bubba's 33, I think it was called. Either Bubba's 31 or Bubba's 33. I don't remember which one. But it's just a hamburger joint. But Jim's burger was so huge, his cheeseburger. well, I don't know what it was called. Oh, it was the sunrise cheeseburger because it had bacon and egg and cheeseburger, and it was too much stuff on it for me, I'll tell you that. But he had to cut it in half and eat it with a knife and fork because it was so big. And he had some onion rings and a Coke with it. But all in all, a successful night out eating. And I'm really happy with that. So I'm going to go get my pajamas on, and I will see you guys in the morning.